So if let's say, for example, you work with somebody who's brand new or even experienced agent, what's your value proposition?
Not to sound conceited, but it comes down to me. Anything I tell people I'm going to do for them, I actually do. When it comes to how many agents I work with, there's probably a few hundred I work with. And any market that we're in is talking to more people, building your network. But a newer agent, it's their comfort zone. It's having those flyers, makes them feel like they can be more successful at the open house, and I want to be the person to make that happen for them. And now I look back at that day and I'm like, thank goodness I made that choice.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Alan K's Show. We got a very, very special guest today. Not only she's probably one of the best top executives in a title game, title and escrow, but she's also a very dear friend of mine. We know each other for over 5 years.
Yeah.
And before that, she tried to get my business for many, many, many years. But I was just too stubborn.
Are we telling the truth on this thing, or are we?
We can always.
Okay.
And she does a great job for agents. She does a great job for a lot of agents outside of my brokerage, but more specifically, our agents in our company. And I am super honored to have Kelly Rivera. Now I still on my phone. I still have Kelly Beresford.
My best friends still have me in their phone as Kelly Beresford.
Okay,
so
I hope
don't,
Aaron's not going to get upset or
No.
anything like that. But I'm going to change that. After this episode, I'm going to change it to
Okay, I'll
Kelly
make it
Rivera.
official.
Or do you want to make it like Kelly Beresford Rivera?
That's just way too long.
That's too long?
Yeah, I'll just go
Yeah,
Rivera.
KBR.
That could do.
That's pretty cool. Okay, all right. Thanks for joining me.
Of course, thank you for having me.
How things going?
Things are good.
Yeah?
Yep, first podcast, and I'd rather do it with nobody
Is
but
this
you.
your really first podcast?
It is, yeah.
No way.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, you're not nervous at all.
A little bit.
Is it because of the half of the bottle?
How did that get there?
By the way, Kelly is she is a wine connoisseur,
self-appointed wine connoisseur.
So, is there like a French word for it?
Connoisseur. Sommelier.
Sommelier.
Yes.
Yeah. So she drinks wine for morning, lunch, breakfast.
You know, if it's in front of me, I can't let it go to waste.
Well, here's what she said. She's like, Alan, I will do the podcast under one condition. And I said, just tell me, what is it? And I was thinking something like, like I have to pay her. And she's like, no, just make sure there's a bottle of wine. That's it. So we got a beautiful bottle of wine, Cab, from
Paso Robles, my
Paso
favorite region.
Robles,
So,
favorite region. Okay. All right, Kelly. So let's talk about your journey.
Okay.
When did you get into the title and escrow?
So I've been
industry?
with Magnus, and it's the only title company I've ever been with.
Yep.
So been with Magnus. This July will be 8 years.
8 years. What were you doing before?
Before I was, well, do you want me to go all the way back or just right before? So
When you were born.
we're not going that far back. I can't even remember that far back. But in my professional career, kind of figuring out life, I went to college in Tucson, U of A, for psychology and business, but realistically I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And kind of fell into the world of real estate. I was working in restaurants in Tucson for a while and decided to come home and was on Craigslist and found a job at a home inspection company. Had no idea what a home inspection company was.
Okay.
My mom's a realtor, or she was at the time, and I said, hey, I have an interview with XYZ company tomorrow, and she's like, oh yeah, I use them all the time for home inspections.
Huh.
Like, what's a home inspection? So went in with them, ended up getting the job as an admin, just answering phone calls, doing paperwork. Never thought I'd be in sales. I'm not your typical salesperson.
What year was that?
That was 2015.
2015? So like 10 years ago?
Yep.
10 years
Yeah,
ago.
when I started with the home inspection company.
That was your first job?
First, adult job.
Adult job. Okay,
Other
got it.
than teaching dance when I was in high school, and then restaurants and little odd jobs like that.
Teaching dance. What kind of dance?
All kinds.
All kinds. Okay, interesting. All right. So your first real job, office job.
Yeah, let's call it the office job.
Office job was 2015 as an admin for an inspection company. All right.
And I somehow got into sales
Yeah.
for them, and then I kind of got recruited into title from there. And I remember very clearly where I was in Target with my friend Brandy, and she's like, you should come work for Magnus and be in title. I said, absolutely not. It sounds horrible.
The title
Honestly.
part was horrible, or the company, Magnus?
No. Definitely not the company. Just doing title, because from what I could see, it was very competitive, very salesy. And at that time, I had still no real sales experience.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to hate it.
Okay.
And now I look back at that day and I'm like, thank goodness I made that choice. It was probably one of the best choices I've ever made in my life.
So that was 80 years ago. So What did it look like? Like, did you interview with, who did you interview with?
With Kim.
With
Kim
Kim,
Brooks.
okay, got it.
And I went in and I was, had my resume and thinking
Yeah.
I needed all this experience and where I went to college. And she's like, can you talk to people? Can you network?
You're hired. Really? Just like that? Well, somebody had to probably pull strings,
Brandy
right?
put in a good word for me.
So Brandy was working for Magnus at that time? Oh, okay.
Yep. And she still is. She's one of our amazing reps.
Really? Never met her.
Her aunt is Cobra. Who owns Magnus.
Oh, okay. Now it makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, got you. So you had a little internal hookup. Got it.
But I still had no idea what I was doing.
So they hire you as an account executive, right? And kind of share your first six to 12 months on the
So
job.
basically, when I got hired, it was good luck. There's no,
Like there was no like training?
yeah, no.
So what are you supposed to do? Like you don't have any sales experience. You don't know anything about the industry.
I know a
right?
little bit now because working for the home inspection company and my mom being a realtor as I was growing up.
Sure.
But that was all my knowledge.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about title and escrow other than what you see on TV, like I'm in escrow and things like that.
Yeah.
And, so got to know my escrow officer, Veronica, who I still work with to this day, and her side of things, and just started connecting with realtors and just asking people to meet with me.
Start connecting with realtors. Okay. And how was that going at that time?
It was interesting. I got kind of like, as I think a realtor would go to say, you think your sphere is going to be the people who would work with you? I'm like, I know all these realtors. My mom was with this company for so many years. They're all going to work with me. They all have their people. They all have their loyalties and their relationships. So they were like, oh, we're so proud of you, but who are you? It's your first day. It's your
Well,
first.
that's the thing. Like I remember, for example, when I used to be in production, like I used to get calls constantly from title reps, home warranty reps, obviously lenders, right? And you're like, okay, I got a good one. I got a good one. No, thank you. I'm not interested.
Exactly.
Right? So that's exactly what you were doing, the same thing?
Yeah, and so I think I was reaching out to random people who would meet with me versus people I already know.
Okay.
And that's how I guess, started
Okay.
and got me to where I am. And
Okay.
those people I reached out to at the beginning, whether it was social media or meeting somebody at a restaurant, they're like, I'm a realtor. I'm like, oh, that kind of a thing. I still work with some of them to this day. So that's really cool.
So how long did it take you to actually like start gaining the traction? Like I'm sure it took some time, right? It's not like you were like getting business from like day one or like day 30, right? Probably took some time.
I think I started making commission in 6 months.
In 6 months. So for 6 months, you didn't make any commissions. Are you getting any some sort of a base or
Yes.
there's a base? Right. Is that the expectations that they put on you? Was the fact that, for the first like 5 or 6 months?
They usually say a year.
Oh, really? So they give you like a year? Wow.
And they didn't necessarily say that, but that's what's typical, I guess, in the industry. Because especially if you don't know anybody or have a previous book of business, how are you supposed to start getting escrows right away?
Interesting. So took you 6 months, start getting your first commissions, right? And like kind of give us an idea in terms of like your agent count, how many agents are you currently working with?
Then or now?
How many? Well, now.
Okay.
Like 8 years afterwards, right? How many agents are you currently working with? How many transactions? How many closings do you average per month and per year?
I mean, when it comes to how many agents I work with, there's probably a few hundred I work with.
A few hundred?
And the reason for that is because I don't discriminate whether you're a new agent or you've been doing this for 20 years. I am open to helping everybody as long as they want to put in the work to be successful, and as long as they're nice. I won't work with anybody who's not going to respect me or what I have to
So
offer.
there are account reps out there that actually discriminate?
That may not be the right word, but they only go after top producers.
Sure. For you, it doesn't matter. New agent, experienced agent, you want
I mean, there's
all of
agents
them.
in your brokerage who I met when they were brand new
Sure.
from day one.
That's
when
right.
Nobody else wanted to work with them, and
That's right.
now they're top producers, and
That's
they'll
right.
never leave my side.
Okay, so if let's say, for example, you work with somebody who's brand new or even experienced agent, I mean, what's your value proposition? Why should they work with you versus like, there's so many title companies out there, and I feel like it's so hard to lead with a unique value proposition because all of you pretty much are kind of like offering the same exact thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I
it's-
think in the grand scheme of things, yes, a lot of title companies offer printing, design work, different things. I'd say the tools at Magnus are a lot. We have a lot of things to offer, but it really, not to sound conceited, but it comes down to me. Anything I tell people I'm going to do for them, I actually do and follow through. And my friend Nathan, who you know, he's a perfect example. When I met him, he said, I've met 10 different title reps, and everything that they told me they were going to do in our meeting, I never heard from them again.
Interesting. Why do you think that's the case?
Maybe getting overwhelmed, because sometimes you'll meet with agents and they want 50 things bullet pointed and they want them immediately.
Really? I was thinking more like 100 things. Like yesterday. Like yesterday. Like, so how do you manage this, right? Like a couple of hundred agents, that's a lot of agents, right? And, you know, you're going to have agents that have these unreasonable. And by the way, I love agents. I'm an agent myself, and at times
And I do as well.
I'm super unreasonable, and I'm not knocking like agents, but you know, some of them can be a little bit unreasonable with their expectations. You know, let's say they're doing an open house this weekend, and it's Friday, and they want flyers Friday, like all that kind of stuff. So how do you manage those expectations?
That took me a while to get because I'm a yes girl. And in this industry, it could be a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to ever overpromise and underdeliver. So it is setting those expectations at the beginning, telling people if you need things for open houses for the weekend, I need to know by Thursday. If something happens on a Friday, I can usually make it happen, but realistic. So setting those expectations, and then they respect me more by knowing this is when we have to ask Kelly for things.
Got it. So, for example, you have an agent there that needs flyers by Saturday. The latest would be.
I don't want to put that in words because I'm going to say Thursday. Let's say Thursday.
Can we just make it Tuesday or
You're
Monday?
right.
Would that be like?
Yeah, and the only problem with that
24
is
hours.
being realistic. It's nice they don't find out until Thursday if they're
That's
having
right.
an open house.
Yeah.
And you know, a seasoned agent can probably hold an open house without their flyers, but a newer agent, it's their comfort zone. It's having those flyers makes them feel like they can be more successful at the open house, and I want to be the person to make that happen for them.
But I think it's beyond flyers. I mean, honestly, I'm just speaking from my experience. Talking to my agents and really knowing how you work with our agents, like it's so much more personal than that.
Absolutely.
I mean, they meet with you, they talk to you, some of the things that they share probably, you know, a little bit more personal, right? And they're really open up to you. And I think that's another thing. It's not just the flyers, it's not just this shiny tool or this and that. There's so much to what you're offering, I think, than some probably perhaps other, you know,
Absolutely,
account
and I
executives.
feel like I want to be not everyone's friend, but I feel like I do become friends with most of the realtors I work with because I do get to know their story and we feel like we know each other.
Yeah.
The marketing is just like an additional bonus.
Yeah. Any interesting stories that you want to share about a realtor's experience for the past 8 years?
Oh, geez. About my experience or?
Yeah, your experience with the agent. You don't have to name the agent name.
I know. I guess I can. Can I share an agent's
Sure.
name in particular?
Absolutely.
So Samantha.
Samantha Barr. Our Samantha Barr. Okay.
So I met Samantha on Zoom. Because it was still COVID time.
Yeah.
She had just joined a different brokerage, and I got an email saying, hey, this agent just joined the brokerage, reach out to her. So we met on Zoom. She was working at a bank, and it was so 50-50 real estate and the bank, and she couldn't use social media. I don't even know if you know this story.
No, I did not.
She wasn't allowed to use social media because working for a bank, you technically couldn't be a realtor. So she had no social media.
Wow.
And look at her now. So she won't mind if I share this, but she ended up getting fired from the bank because they found out she was a realtor. And she decided, sink or swim. Do I find another job to have some money, or do I just kill it in real estate? And she'll attest that I helped her along the way. But that first year, I think she closed 20 deals. And it was because she showed up to classes and met with me, and I helped her with all her marketing. But I met her from day one when she didn't have social media.
Yeah.
And anybody who knows Samantha knows her social media. She gets so much business from that.
That's right.
So for me, it's so cool to see somebody I helped from day one to see where they're at now. And she still needs my help on things. And she's my best friend. So, but we met through the industry.
Interesting. I didn't know about that story at all. Wow. All right. Anyone else?
Like a story like that from the beginning, or?
Well, from the beginning, or some, you know, like I'm talking about something unique, something different,
Oh, jeez.
something crazy.
Good crazy or bad crazy?
Whatever, bad crazy.
Oh, gosh.
Bad shit crazy.
I have so many stories. You've heard some of them before. But I can't think of, on the spot, I can't think of a really good example of something really good. I don't know.
No, it's fine. Oh, move on. All right. So been doing this for 8 years. Love your job. You love your job.
I do.
I know we talked about this before, but you're there at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the evening, replying to the emails, working on the weekends. working during your vacation time. Like you were in Japan and you're working. Like if you really want to have a title rep that actually is so committed and dedicated to her job, and more importantly to the agents, she's the girl, by the way. I mean, she's amazing.
And it's truly because I do love
Yeah.
what I do. I love the agents I work with. So it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, love it. You recently got married.
I did.
Yes.
June 2nd will be 2 years.
How's that going?
It's going great.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful.
And your husband, Aaron, he's also in real estate space.
He is. That's how we met.
That's right. He owns a real estate brokerage.
He does.
That's right. That's right. That's awesome. Top agent as well, on top of that.
Yeah, and similar story to Samantha. I met him when he was brand new agent, 20 years as a chef, become realtor.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that story. When did you meet him?
2019.
Okay.
And he was one of the neediest agents I'd ever worked with.
High maintenance. Interesting.
But I think he was hungry.
So you guys met, right? He started using your company. And how did it all become into a relationship?
We were friends for a while. We weirdly had a mutual friend. Long story short, he worked in Vegas for a long time, and I know one person in Vegas. He's close friends with my mom. He's like my big brother, threw me my 21st birthday party, and him and Aaron worked together for several years in Vegas, best friends.
Yeah.
So we instantly hit it off as friends more than anything, and was doing all his marketing, all the things I would typically do, making sure, especially new agents, are going to be successful. And I think we kind of had a crush on each other and didn't openly say it until we went out for sushi, and we weren't sure if it was a meeting or a date, and it ended up being a date in the end.
Was it a lunch or dinner?
It was a happy hour.
It was a happy hour. Okay. Do you remember the sushi restaurant?
Sushi Brokers.
Sushi Brokers. Okay, got it. And how long was the meeting/date?
Maybe like 3 hours.
No way. 3 hours. Wow. Okay.
And that was the rest was history. We kind of decided we liked each other and never looked back.
And that was what year?
2019.
2019. So about 6 years ago. Got it. And you guys married 2 years ago?
Yep. June 2nd will be 2 years.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I feel like it's nice being married to somebody in the industry because they get it. So when I work on vacation or work late hours, it's not like, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? He gets it.
He gets it. Got it.
For the most part.
Let's talk about wine.
Okay.
You're not drinking wine.
Currently in this moment?
You should be drinking wine.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll take a sip.
Beautiful.
Because you guys poured it for me, so thank you.
So I think you travel to California at least 4 or 5 times a year. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what regions of California do you usually go to, and which one is your most favorite?
Okay. So Paso Robles is my favorite
Yeah.
region in California. It's near San Luis Obispo. That's where we fly into and then drive. And mostly girls trips when we do these because all my girls love to wine taste. But we do Napa, Sonoma. We just did Carmel. But Paso would be my favorite. I love wine. My parents got me on wine when I was underage. And when I went to college...
Hold on a second.
Don't tell anyone. Is this being recorded?
Your parents got you.
I know. Because we're Italian, So.
Oh, my God. From what age you started drinking?
Probably junior, senior year in high school.
Okay, so 16, 17 years old? Okay.
So when I went to college, I'd call my mom and be like, hey, what are some good wines? And she's like, you can't afford any of the wines that we drink at home. You're going to go get some Franzi out of a box and you're going to like it. So she spoiled me early on when drinking good wine.
Got it. Wow.
So a lot of trips that we plan, whether it's a girls trip or me and my husband, we try to find locations where we can wine taste.
So you went to Paso Robles a few times, right? Carmel?
Yep.
What are your thoughts about Carmel?
Didn't love the wine, but loved Carmel. It was incredible.
So the wine was mid, it was average?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't think they're known as much for their wine there versus Napa, Sonoma, Paso.
What about Santa Barbara area?
I haven't done wine tasting there yet.
Okay.
It's on the list.
It's on the list. Interesting.
But even on our honeymoon, we were in Portugal, and the wine tasting out there, that was the best.
That was the best? Better than California? Really? What made it the best?
Just the wines, the different variety, and the pricing. Not that really makes a difference, but the good quality wine, you couldn't believe the pricing. It was
Dirt
so
cheap.
inexpensive.
And the food probably was also really good. Also super inexpensive, right?
Oh yeah, you can't find expensive food and drinks if you try.
Do you know if they export that type of wine here? Like, I don't know. I don't see them a big selection of like
They have
Portuguese wines.
They do like Total Wine or things like that. They'll have Portuguese, French wines. It's just not the same.
They're not the same.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're coming from those regions, but you're not getting everything that they have out there. If you want the best, you got to be there.
Interesting. I got to check it out. I don't know. Really
You're not a big wine drinker. But
You know, it really, I like wine with food, probably, right? If I'm like having a nice, beautiful, juicy steak. That's
My
steak
favorite.
44. Your favorite?
Steak?
Steak?
No.
My favorite. I would have a wine, you know, a glass or two, usually a cab, you know. But as far as like sitting and just sipping on a wine, no. No. If I would sip, usually going to be like a tequila, like an añejo or extra añejo, or scotch or something like that. I don't know. Wine makes me too relaxed.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit sleepy.
They say one glass makes you sleepy, 2, you're good to go.
Oh, that's
So
how it works.
That's what
What
you're
about the
missing.
entire bottle?
That's a mystery.
That's
Depends on the day.
all right, cool. Let's shift back to the business side of it. All right. So you've been working with agents for 8 years now, 8+ years. You've seen all types of agents, you know, newbies, producing agents, struggling agents, right? Knowing the agents and working with the agents, from your experience, what makes an agent a top producing agent in your book or from your experience? What do you think that they have in terms of the attributes that makes them like high producing, closing consistently, right, and generating lots of money?
I think the biggest thing would be just putting in the work, honestly, because it's not a certain personality type. You know, I'm sure you experience this as well, but people blame the market for why we're slow, whether it's COVID, interest rates, NAR, whatever it may be. But if you're an agent who's going to put in the work, you're going to be successful in any market. And that's what I see. The people who talk to everybody, they'll get clients everywhere. And I see other agents like, how is so-and-so so busy? Well, they're always out there. It's not that they're paying for ads or paying for leads. It's they're just putting themselves in situations where they're always meeting people and always networking with people and being open to relationships that aren't instant buying or selling with you is how they become successful.
Yeah, it's interesting because I went to grab some lunch at Starbucks, quickie lunch, spinach feta wrap. That's my
Can't go
go-to.
wrong.
Yeah, and I see my landlord, and you know he's pulling out, and I'm pulling in. And we started having a conversation. I haven't seen him for a couple of years. That means I'm paying on time. You know, when he doesn't bother me, that means I'm paying on time. But anyway, so we started having conversations like, hey, how's business? I was like, well, it just depends, right? You know, and he's like, what do you mean? I said, if you're a buyer, it's a good time to buy right now. There's definitely more options out there, right? If you're a seller, depending at the certain price range, that may sit for a little bit longer, right? And you have to price it aggressively. And I was like, hey, you still live right there on 47th Avenue, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, actually, as a matter of fact, I'm thinking of selling my house. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Can you tell me a little bit about your house? And it's like, oh, it's about 4,000 square feet. It's got a 7-car garage. It's got a man cave. It's 1.5 acres. And it's like, I said, what do you want to sell? I was like, well, you know, he's like, I'm thinking of downsizing. And I was like, okay, cool. How much do you want for it? He's like, well, if I can get about $1.6 million, you know, I'll be happy with it. I was like, man, he can probably get more than that. I was like, you know what? I know a really good, the best listing agent in the industry. He's like, oh, who that might be? I was like, me. I was like, all right, yeah, stop by. Let's talk about it. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So this weekend I'm gonna check it out.
That's amazing. But imagine if you were just like, hey, nice to see you.
Exactly. If I would not get out of the car, if I would not shake his hand, ask him how he's doing, how's his business, where is he going, this and that, none of that conversation would happen.
Absolutely.
So that's exactly what you're talking about, right?
I mean, that's how I've gotten business that way. So, and I only have one kind of client, a realtor. So as a realtor, anybody's a potential client.
That's right. That's right.
So I really, in any market that we're in, is talking to more people, building your network. Those are the people who are the most successful.
Got it. So they have to be out there, if you will, meeting with people, talking to people, like politicians, kissing babies and all of that kind of
Schmoozing.
stuff. Schmoozing. What if you're not a schmoozer? There's some realtors out there, they're not really extroverts, right? I'm not, naturally, I'm not an extrovert.
Really?
I'm not. I can adjust, I can adapt, but I'm not. I'd rather be home, sitting and doing other things, next to the pool, my beautiful backyard.
Yes.
Versus being out and about and meeting with people and shaking hands. That's not really me.
Yeah. And a lot of agents aren't open to that either. I think it's one of the most beneficial ways to get business, but there's obviously other ways. You have several agents who are great at hitting the phones and
Sure.
they get business that way. And in my experience, those people who love making calls hate networking, and vice versa. People who love doing in-person things hate making phone calls.
See, I used to be one of those agents.
Which
I
one?
used to love making calls.
Okay.
For me, networking was not really the thing, to be honest with you. Again, when I have to, I guess. But it's not something that I really wanted to, looking forward to. It's not something I was craving. Even when I speak on the stage, I'm not one of those individuals that are like, oh my God, this is it. I love this. No, it's I got to get myself
Ramp yourself up for
psyched
it.
up, right? So I can go and I can perform on the stage.
Yeah.
I'm not natural when it comes to this.
See,
Seriously.
from an outsider, you are. From
Do you
what
know
I
how?
see.
Oh my God! But I'm probably the most critical person myself. I should have said that. Should have said that. It's just so many things. By the way, I don't watch most of the things that I put out there.
That's probably for the best, because then you will overthink it.
Yeah, overthink it. Okay, so extroverts, and for the introverts, it's more like phone calls and
Behind the scenes stuff.
emails, and sending out smoke signals.
Yeah.
And hopefully get the business that way.
Paying for ads, which
Paying
they
for
can
ads,
work, but it's
What about those struggling agents or those agents that, let's say, you work with or meet with, that for some reason is just not happening for them, right? Especially the last few years. What do you tell them?
Well, I guess they're try to get a gauge on what they're willing to do too, because if they're not going to put in any work at all, it's going to be hard to get any business. But if they're really trying and not getting any business, it's maybe change up some of the things that they're doing, add a twist to it, try in a different way. Because as we know, door knocking can work, calls can work, open houses can work, but how are you doing them?
Are you having these conversations with them?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are they receptive?
For the most part.
Yeah. Are they actually doing it afterwards? Yeah.
The ones who really want it, yes. But I also meet with several people who tell me all the things they want to do. And I do them for them, create their marketing plan, whatever they're looking to do, and then they just kind of stop working. So that's why there's 50,000 realtors?
I think it's about 40 and
Okay.
change, right?
Because they're not all made the same.
40,000, there's some interesting stats. I think 75% of the brand new agents do not survive after a 1 year or something like that, right?
Because it's expensive to have your license.
That, and then after a certain period of time, you're not making any money. You kind of tend to give up, right?
Yeah, and it's asking those agents who come to me with their struggles the right questions. And not to give you too much of an ego, but I've sent several agents over to Best Homes because they're
She's
not
my best recruiter, by the way.
You're free recruiter.
Well, not necessarily. I mean,
No, but
it's a partnership.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody's
Yes.
winning.
But sometimes it really is you and how hard you're going to work, but sometimes it's where you are and who you're surrounding yourself with.
Yeah.
So there's several agents who I've had come over here who their business has gone up like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look at Nathan. He's already closing deals. I think he's working with 2 buyers right now. He was getting another listing. He's buying a tree trimming business as well, right? And then he's got some CBT type of gummies that he wants to invest in. The guy's a full-blown entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that all of it happened in the last couple of weeks when he moved to Best Homes.
Yeah, sometimes it's
Just like
who
that.
you're surrounding yourself with
Yeah.
to motivate you.
Yeah, I'm taking full credit for Nathan's.
Please.
I'm just, by the way, speaking of Nathan, it took me 5 years to get him on board.
I know.
Painful years,
And here he is.
right? 5 years. 5 years to analyze whether to join a brokerage or not.
But change is hard in this industry. And something I see a lot of agents, they all kind of feel like they're alone, right? So they're all calling me. Is the market bad or is it just me?
Oh, they're calling you for advice?
Because I'm with them all. I'm with the agents all day, every day.
Yes.
So I think it's somewhat of a comfort for them to know that they're not the only ones in that boat.
How many conversations are you having per day with agents?
On Saturday, hopefully none. Sometimes. That's
Well, but
my
you
day.
work Saturday and Sunday.
Yes,
Yes.
usually
Yes.
emails,
Yes.
but actual in-person conversations, I couldn't even tell you.
Like 5 a day?
More than that.
10 a day?
I'd say on average.
10 a day. These are phone calls,
Phone calls.
texts.
I wouldn't count texts because then we're getting into the.
Right.
There's a lot. But it's in-person meetings.
How many
phone
in-person meetings a
calls.
day?
I'd say anywhere from 2 to 6.
2 to 6 meetings per day. Really?
Absolutely, yeah.
And how long are these meetings?
It depends. It could be an hour, but there's been times that they've gone for like 3 hours. So
What do you talk about for 3 hours?
Everything.
Wow.
But it goes back to being there for the agents and not just being a transactional relationship, but actually investing in them and who they are.
So you're meeting with 2 to 6 agents every single day, at least 5 days a week. And some of these meetings are as long as 3 hours. And you guys
those,
are talking about
those days
pretty
we're
much
only having
every-
2 meetings because there's
2
only so much time
meetings,
in the
that's
day.
Wow.
Yeah, and some of them are on Zoom. Those meetings are usually shorter and more efficient.
Okay. And the ones that are in person?
They're usually longer.
And
especially
where
if
do
there's
you
a lunch
take, or
meeting.
where do you meet your agents? Where do you go?
It depends. If it's somebody, take Robert Tonai, for example, who I haven't seen in a while, and we love going to Mochilero together. That's our spot.
By the way, today's his birthday.
I already wish him happy birthday.
Me too.
Happy birthday, Robert.
Happy birthday, Robert.
So someone like him, we have a relationship. We know where we like to go. That's our spot. First time meeting, whether sometimes at the office, whether it's your office or somebody
Yep.
else's office I work with, or a coffee shop that's nearby where they live. If it's East Valley, Zoom.
So it's
For the most part.
nothing against East Valley agents. By the way, I was in East Valley yesterday. I was in Gilbert. It took me an hour and 22 minutes to come back. I left Kona Grill in Gilbert at 4 p.m.
Oh,
Man,
in
I
traffic?
got home at 5:30. Hour, like almost hour and 30 minutes traffic.
Yeah. So
Seriously.
in that hour and 30 minutes, what could you have gotten done?
Well, I was on the phone. You know, I was calling back this person, calling this person. I find things to do. Like I'm not just sitting there and
In traffic, doing nothing.
doing nothing, none of that stuff, right? I always do something. But yeah, it takes quite a bit of time to get there, right? So the East Valley agents, so you know, it's going to be Zoom for most of you, unless of course you're a top producing agent. Then,
it depends on the
then
situation.
Kelly will call Cobra, and Cobra will get a helicopter, and we
Exactly.
yeah, something
we
along
make it
those
work.
lines.
But we can always meet in the middle, and there's options.
Yeah, like Glendale.
Oh my God. Like 67 and Happy Valley. That's the middle,
67,
right?
Happy Valley, that's right. Speaking of options, do you have an admin now? Did you get an admin? Because I know last time we spoke, you were
did.
kind of debating whether to have an admin or
did.
not. Yes?
So for the past year and a half, 2 years, I've had a virtual assistant.
Yep.
And he's fantastic.
Yep.
But I was talking to Melissa earlier about it, and he's not in the field. He lives in the Philippines. He's fantastic with managing emails. If I'm in a meeting, he can help people get their open house flyers faster or answer questions, so people don't have to wait as long.
Yeah.
If I'm in a 3-hour meeting or something like that. But I've officially hired an admin, an in-person assistant. She starts next week.
What's her name?
Malia.
Malia. Oh, that's a nice
She
name.
is fantastic. I'm so excited. She's really excited. So she's a hairdresser, but I took her to a networking meeting as a hairdresser, and she worked the room. In her first networking meeting ever, I was like, I'm gonna hire her one day.
Huh.
So
And she's going to be full-time or part-time?
full time.
Full-time. Interesting.
So I'm excited, but also a little nervous. I do a lot, and so to explain it all to her and have her learn all the systems and things that I do, it's gonna take some time to train.
So you're going to be training her? Awesome. That's great. Is she going to be working from home, I'm assuming, or
No, I'm gonna
office?
have her shadow me for a while to come to things to kind of understand what I
Yeah.
do, and I want her to meet everybody because everybody I work with, I want them to know who my team is. Right?
And she's starting next week. Wow.
Yeah, so I'll bring her in to meet
Congrats. I'm
everybody.
excited.
Thank you.
That's
I'm
awesome.
really excited, and I have to thank you because you kind of gave me that push to ask for it.
Honestly, I'm surprised you didn't have an assistant before that. I mean, I know you had a VA, and he does a really, really good job, but you still, like, the amount of business that you're generating. If I would be Cobra, I would have 2 assistants for her.
Well, thank you. But also, it's finding the right person. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy to have her come on board. I think
awesome.
it'll take my business and help everybody I work with even more, take us to the next level.
I love it. So what's the next thing for you? Let's say you and I were having this conversation, like, I don't know, like 5 years down the road. You're still sipping cab.
That'll never change.
Yeah.
We'll be sipping our good wines.
Yeah.
I know you asked me. I think you asked me this over lunch one time, and
Yeah.
I'm definitely a person who's goal oriented and has, levels I want to hit. But I don't look that far into the future. I've never been that way, so it's a hard question for me to answer. I always want to be moving upward and becoming more successful, but I don't know where I see myself in 5 years.
Okay. Is it making more money?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Owning your own company?
potentially.
Potentially? Okay. I like that.
Yeah, this is my first rodeo, so thanks for bearing with me.
Oh, you're the
No, I love working with you. I love all the relationship we've created over the past 4 or 5 years.
almost 5 years. And I was joking about the fact that Kelly was after me for 5 years before that. That was not the case. I think our relationship, our professional relationship started almost 5 years ago, I think, and she's been terrific from day one. Our agents just adore her, love her, and she's an awesome partner. I'm always trying to recruit her to my company, but she's super
I said you
loyal.
can't afford me.
I can't afford, yeah, exactly.
But no, very loyal to Magnus, and they take such good care of me.
And Magnus is a phenomenal company as well. I have a lot of respect for Cobra, Kim, the rest of the team. They do a really good job, and we're partners. We've been partners for over 4 years now. So, I appreciate you. If, let's say, agents want to connect with you, start using your services, where they can find you.
I mean, call me, text me, social media, any of those ways.
Social media, Kelly Rivera.
So my Facebook is Kelly Rivera. My Instagram is Magnus Title Arrowhead.
Magnus Title Arrowhead.
I also have a personal one, which is Kelly Rivera too. But
Perfect.
any of those things, smoke signals,
Smoke
it all works.
signals, email. She responds to emails, text
I
messages.
do. I live in my emails.
She works 8 days a week on vacations while sipping wine. She's still working.
No, it's
Like you're getting like a top-notch rep, the best rep in the Valley for sure. And I work with a lot of them.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching. If you like this content, hit subscribe, like, and reach out to Kelly if you're an agent looking for the best title rep in the Valley.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You got it.